Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, we are here to talk about the Sunshine Double. Indian Wells and Miami, both tournaments have occurred. And Bryce, man, we were able to catch, of course, the first week of Indian Wells. And then we came back and we've been kind of watching how that tournament unfolded. And then Miami happened. And bro, there's a lot of tennis to talk about. Let's talk first about give us your thoughts on Indian Wells and our trip there.
Yeah, well, we had a great week in Indian Wells. It was great seeing the peeps, connecting with people we hadn't seen in a while, meeting some new individuals. Shout out once again to Matt Van Tynen and the whole media organization there at Indian Wells for, hosting Brothers on Tennis, and that was great. The tennis was good. The weather was a little chilly. That was a bit of a surprise for us. I mean, it was nice to like the last day or so, but brother needed a jacket most of that week. But it was a good tournament. But as we're getting ready to talk about both Indian Wells and Miami, the Sunshine Double, the trend continued that we've been seeing from the beginning of this year, and that is your favorites are not winning. I mean, yeah, a couple of them are coming through, right? But typically, and Isaac, just being honest, I mean, when you think about we've done Brothers on Tennis for the last 5 years, right? And we sit down and we look at a draw and we look at who should win and we make our predictions. There's always an upset here or there. Somebody comes through, somebody doesn't do what they were supposed to do. But for the large part of it, 75% of it mainly, you look at the results and you're like, okay, you kind of expected these people to come through or not. I swear for 2025, the L's are going crazy. Like Oprah was like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. It's like, you get an L, you get an L, you get an L. I mean, and it ain't just like, oh, that was a mild upset. I mean, it's like, how did they lose to them?
Right. Exactly.
So that is my theme on a lot of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Bryce. I just feel like there were a lot of, it's just a lot of, I don't want to call it imbalance, but there's just something going on both tours that I'm just like, I don't really understand what's going on, but hey, we'll see how it all shakes out. I think that there are just a lot of people that are competing to get into that upper echelon, if you will. And, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it going. That's the thing that I want to see is can they actually sustain this level? And, specifically the winners of both Indian Wells and Miami on the men's side. I'm curious because to me, they've got a lot of potential. But it'll be very interesting to see can they sustain that level. And I know we'll get into talking more about that as well. So bro, where do you want to start? How do you want to kick it off?
Well, let's start off with the doubles and across both tournaments. And an easy one to start with is the men's doubles. The story here in the Sunshine Double is that it's Aravello and Pavic's world as it relates to men's doubles. Shout out to everybody that put their name in the hat and tried to go out and do what they could do, but they ran away with both titles and are clearly the number one men's doubles team in the world.
Absolutely agree, Bryce. I mean, they got out there and they did their thing. I saw their matches in the finals, semis. Just they're playing some really great tennis right now. And I mean, we've known these guys, we've talked with these guys. They are fantastic guys, and the fact that they are having this level of success just really makes, of course, both of us very happy. And the fact that even we got to hang out with Marcelo at the Taste of Tennis event in Indian Wells a few weeks back. Hey, I feel like, we should be able to take a little bit of credit, a little bit of that, because we inspired Marcelo to go out and play his best tennis. And that's what he did.
Well, I think what we should get credit for is our boy Gabe. We introduced Gabe to Marcelo, and that must have sparked something there to create these wonderful wins we've received from this team the last couple of weeks. So, shout out to both guys. Keep it going. Definitely want to see that kind of success in the majors for the rest of the year. But I was very interested when I think it was in Miami when they played against Mektic. And that was a good match. I think it
Yes, it
went three
was.
sets,
Yeah,
if
went
I'm
to the
not
super
mistaken.
tie. You got it. Match tie break.
Right, because for those of you that weren't following, Pavic and Mektic used to be that team, right?
Right.
And they were winning everything, and now teams have changed, and
Right.
Pavic is still winning.
Well, he is, but you know what? Shade aside, I want to say though, it was really nice at the end of the match. They shook hands,
Mhm.
gave each other good hugs. So
Yeah.
you at least see that there's no animosity, which is what you
Mhm.
hope there isn't, because like I said, these guys are countrymen. They're going to end up playing together, as it relates to Davis Cup, and hell, even if they're both still around for the
The
next
Olympics.
Olympics.
Mhm.
So it was good at least for them I didn't feel or sense there was any level of animosity. So, and that just speaks to the people, because Pavic,
Right.
Mektic, they're good. Like I said, I feel like they're good guys. We met, of course, both of them. Pavic, really, really super nice. So
Yeah.
hopefully that continues. But yeah, you're right. Pavic is like, hey.
What did Shaggy say? Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. See? See?
All
Oh
right.
goodness.
So, with that being said, let's keep it in the doubles
Yes.
and let's flip it to the women's. Now, Isaac, for me, what the surprise was is Taylor Townsend and Siniakova, they've been running things on the women's side, but they didn't snag either one of these titles.
Yeah. They made it. At least they made it far. So they made it. I think I can't remember if it was the semis of both, or maybe the semis and a final. Regardless, they didn't take home the trophy, which is
Right.
surprising because, like you said, they've been sort of that dominant team on the women's side since they came together at the start of 2025. I feel like that this is more of a hiccup than anything for them. I do expect them to go out and win more titles. And quietly, the ladies that did win the titles, hey, they doing their thing, because first and foremost, we know Asia Muhammad. Asia Muhammad is not someone to play around with on the doubles side.
No.
Asia Muhammad can play some doubles, and then you pair her with Demi Schurz. That's a mean team, Bryce. It's mean.
It
And
is.
so the fact that they were able to take Indian Wells, I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I would have
Right.
liked it to have been Tay and Siniakova, but at the same time, hey, Asia Muhammad, you do you. Very happy for you. Very proud of you. And then on the flip side, Bryce, we talk about Miami. You've got Andreeva and Schneider. And listen, them two young ladies they are a team to watch out for, because I honestly feel like they are going to be the team that really is going to challenge Tay and Siniakova for that number one spot if they continue to play together throughout the year.
And shout out to Andreeva doing it in both singles and doubles.
Right? Come on now. And 17.
Right. Yeah.
Big things on the horizon.
I mean, you called it, Isaac. I got to give you your props. I mean, you've been on the Andreeva train since she kind of came out, and we've seen the potential. But I'll be very honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that she's having the success that she's having this soon. I felt like it was gonna come, but
Yeah.
I know we'll talk more about that a little later.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. I mean, on the ladies double side, I mean, shout out. I think that while the winners that we expected to win didn't win, I can't say that I'm necessarily that surprised by the two teams that did win.
Right. I agree with you. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look at Indian Wells from a singles perspective.
All right.
And which way you want to go, the men or the women first?
Gosh, let's talk well, it's funny because mine just sort of overlap. So it's all over the place. But I mean, I'm okay with either one that you want to start with, right?
Let's go with the men.
Okay.
So Isaac, for the men, and
Yeah.
we won't worry about how they got there, but in the quarters you had Runa against Greeks 4, you had Medvedev versus Feast,
Yes.
you had Draper versus Shelton, and you had Alcaraz versus Cerundolo,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And to be very honest with you, who we got in the semis, and you can tell me if you feel the same or not, but I wasn't surprised by really any of the results. Um, Runa, over Grigspor, I mean, we knew Grigspor is a tough out, but I expected Holger to come through, right?
Right.
Um, Medvedev, it was actually a very good win for him over Feast because Feast has been on the upswing and Medvedev has been on the downswing. So a 7-6 third set win there was good.
Right.
Draper's been the hot guy. So although, Brother Man's hardest was Shelton, I kind of thought Draper was the hotter player.
Well, and really quickly on that,
Mm-hmm.
for me and what I've been seeing as a trend, for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, Ben Shelton does not play well against left-handers.
Left-handers, right? I knew you were going to say that. Yeah,
Manarino, I mean, there's so many guys that I feel like he should beat down, and he literally just struggles. So I don't know what
yeah,
it is with the leftiness, but Ben Shelton needs to figure that out because his lefty on lefty crime is not going in his favor.
right, right. Because, like you're saying, he's not even losing. I mean, he is losing to lefties that are not his caliber.
Correct.
Draper, slight exception,
Correct.
but some of these other ones, no, right? And then we expected Alcaraz to beat Cerundolo, right?
Yes.
So getting to the semis, that didn't seem so odd.
Right.
Now talk to us, Isaac, about what happened in the semis.
I don't know that I can, to be very honest with you, because there is in no world would I have ever thought that Runa would beat Medvedev on a hard court straight sets. I wouldn't have predicted that. So the fact that he was able to do that I don't know, that just kind of tells a little bit of a story that Medvedev still has some work that he needs to do to get back to where he once was as the hard court specialist and really the one competing for hard court Grand Slams.
Right.
That was a surprise. That was truly a surprise. And on the other side, I just think that the whole Alcaraz Draper match, I watched that match. It was a really, really good match. I have to put an asterisk on that match, and here's why. And I know a lot of people saw this and probably are like, oh well, it just depends on what side of the coin you're on. But basically, in the third set, Jack Draper, sorry y'all, Jack Draper went to scoop up a drop shot that Carlos hit. He actually got to it and he hit it back over. The ref then said, stop, 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 because it was our guy, Mohammed. And he stopped it, but Alcaraz hit the ball. As he was saying it, he hit the ball and the ball went out. So, of course, we have video review, which is great. They did show that Jack Draper actually got the ball. So he got under it. So that was valid. The next thing, though, was they gave him the point because Alcaraz hit the ball out. Well, I contend that Mohamed Leoni's calling of stop, stop, stop was affected Alcaraz, and it ended up, impairing him in hitting a clean ball, and he hit it out. Well, Alcaraz, being the great guy and gentleman that he is, was just because, of course, it took a long time to get the video review going. It took a long time for them to blah, blah, blah. And then they had to talk about, hey, blah, blah, blah. Do I get the point? Do we replay the point? And when they gave him the point, Alcaraz was just sort of like, he had kind of had enough of it and just wanted to move forward. But truthfully, had he contested, they would have played that point over because, again, it was very clear that Mohammed saying stop, stop, stop absolutely interfered with Alcaraz's shot that he pushed wide. And so, honestly, from that point, Bryce, he ended up, I don't think he got broke that game, but I still feel like that played a part, and he eventually got broke, and Jack ended up winning the match. Because again, this was in the latter part of the third set. So I feel like I'm putting an asterisk around that one because of that reason.
I can understand that. I really can. But I guess we hope that our champions can kind of work through situations like that, right?
Right,
That
right.
they're not dependent upon that to be, to dictate whether they win or they lose. And I know, and see, here's my thing. I know Alcaraz really likes Jack Draper.
Yeah, yeah,
And that made me wonder, even going into the match. You know how sometimes, you don't bring your full whatever against your boy, you
hmm
know?
yeah.
I don't know why in my mind I felt like there was something in play in that. Because do you remember the time they played before that? And I think Jack couldn't finish the match and he had to retire.
I don't remember that
Uh,
exactly, but yeah,
um, I think he had to retire in the match or it was something. And Carlos was just like, oh, he just felt so bad about it. And,
yeah,
you know, once again, that's all in being a champion, though. I mean, you got to be able to, put that stuff to the side. But what we're starting to learn in terms of what we're hearing from Carlos off the court is there's something going on. There is some sort of, I don't know if it's dealing with the pressure, the expectations, the whole mental thing,
yeah,
playing his boy. I mean, I think there's some stuff going on. I don't know any details, of course, but I think it's playing out on the court.
yeah, yeah. I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that. And honestly, I feel like that is something that Carlos is going to struggle with at least during the younger part of his career because he
Mhm.
is, he is very nice. He is super nice, and I think that he struggles with again the focus and that really truly killer instinct that yes, I want to destroy you in order to get my W's.
Right,
And
right.
and I think that that's always going to be something that he's going to have to contend with because again, he is such a nice guy. But at the same time, I think as you continue to grow, as you continue to mature on the tour, he'll understand that just as a professional, this is your job, and it
Right.
ain't about friendship or being nice. You got to go out there and you've got to do your job to the best of
Mhm,
your ability. And I just feel like he's just slightly juggling a little bit
mhm.
with some of that because again, you don't see like Center having any issue with that whatsoever. Center go out there and beat you down and be like, hey, it was nice nice seeing you. Bye. you
I
know.
know. That
So
is so true. But
yeah,
so we have all of this great buildup, Isaac, to
yeah,
the final,
yeah,
and we have Runa there, and we have Draper there, and it's a contrast in styles, and Holger had been so smart about how he played against Medvedev, not giving him really anything,
right.
and Draper's on one because he's been on one for a while,
Yeah.
and I guess he was really on one because that Draper Bakery just came out of nowhere, right?
Didn't it though? It really did. Jack played an outstanding match. I mean, he, like I said, he came out and he opened up the bakery. Like I said, I think he was even surprised himself. And then here come Holger was like, wait a minute, I got keys too. And I can do it as well. And he did such, but then the third set came around. It's like, okay, who is going to rebound? Who is going to take one of the biggest titles, in their career. I mean, true enough, Holger has won a Masters 1000, but
Mhm.
still, it's that's to win Indian Wells, which they always talk about as the fifth tournament behind the majors. Is a big one, and unfortunately, Jack just went out there and was like, "Hey, this third set is mine, bro."
Now wait a minute, third set.
They didn't play three. I'm sorry, I'm getting
I,
confused. Oh no, see, I'm confused. I'm looking at the wrong score line, y'all. I'm very sorry. Yeah, he did the whole biscuits. I forgot about that.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he went out there and was like 2-2. We done. Yeah,
Yes.
he was trying to get it done quick. That's my bad, bro. I was looking at the semis. That's my bad.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, that sounds like the Medvedev match.
Exactly. Sorry about that, y'all. But
I
yeah,
mean, and I'm saying that wrong. I mean, Draper Alcaraz.
right, right, right. Yeah, because like I said, and that's the reason why, again, I feel like that call was kind of interesting because, like I said, Alcaraz bageled him that second set,
Right.
and then you had that call
Yes.
happen, and then all of a sudden that momentum, you know what I'm saying? So to
Right.
me, it shouldn't, and like you said, I 100% agree with you with what you said. Champions, it shouldn't matter. You figure out how to get the W.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like because Alcaraz is not one for always being locked in, I think that
Mm-hmm.
somehow unlocked where he was, and it allowed
Right.
Jack to take advantage of that. So
Right.
yeah. So sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. That's right. There was no third set whatsoever. Jack Draper went out there and he skull drug Holgaroon, and he was like, "Ain't nobody scared of you."
But taking it back to what you said earlier, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, I don't know how many people had Jack Draper winning Indian Wells on their sheet this year, but it will be interesting to see how he's able to build upon this,
Correct.
going forward.
Correct. And I have to give him kudos because at least he lost to the eventual champion of Miami, which we'll get to.
Yes, yes. So there we go for the men
Yeah.
in Indian Wells,
Yeah.
So let's take it to the women. Same
Yeah.
thing, Isaac. We'll start no matter how they got there to the quarterfinals. We had Sabalenka
Hmm.
against Samsonova.
Right.
We had Bencic against Madison Keys.
Hmm.
We had Andreeva versus Svitolina,
Hmm.
and we had Swiatek versus Queenie.
Yep. 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 Um, yeah, go ahead, Bryce. I'm sorry.
No, so I'm gonna turn it over to you for these semifinals because we had Sabalenka against your girls Keys. I can't wait to hear about that, and then Andreeva against Swiatek. So talk to us, good dear sir.
Well, yeah. Well, here's because I did of course watch the Sabalenka Keys match, and I think it's just very, very simple. Madison Keys played old school Madison Keys tennis, and Sabalenka was very much like, okay, if you want to self destruct, I'm just going to let you. I'm just going to put balls back in court. And Madison just, unfortunately, the balls were flying on her. I don't know if there was a change as far as them playing day versus night or whatever the case may be, but she simply could not get a ball in court, however she tried. And like I said, and kudos to Sabalenka because Sabalenka, as we know, used to be that person. She used to
Right,
be the one taking out folks in the first row of the stands. And this time around, because again, she's number one, she's an absolute champion. She's just like, okay, I see that she is struggling. All I need to do is get balls back in play and let her make the mistakes. And that's all she did, Bryce. Seriously. It's not like she did anything spectacular. Madison hit herself out of that match. It was probably some of the ugliest tennis I've ever seen from Madison Keys. I'm just being honest with you because y'all know I like Madison
mhm,
and I really like her game. But on that particular night,
right.
sis could not get anything working. And even my aunt was like, what the hell happened with Madison Keys? I was like, and she wasn't even she's a tennis fan, but good Lord, she was even
Right,
coming to me like, what happened to her? And I said, some days just ain't your day. And that was the
right,
case. And Sabalenka saw that and was like, I don't need to do anything spectacular. I'm just going to get balls back in play. It was like 1-2 error, one
right.
error, 1-2-3 error, one error, whoops, double fault, error. It just, it was
Hmm.
a mess of a match. So,
Right,
and it's unfortunate that she went out that way. But at the same time, I will say for her to get to the semis, and she put them things on Belinda Bencic because quietly I thought she was going to have a tussle with Belinda Bencic, and
right,
she got out there and was like, "Here's your two breadsticks, sis." That right, just sold her the dough, and
right,
I was like, "Where'd that come from?" Because I really did not think she would handle up on benches in that
right.
way, and then for her to just simply fall off the wagon the way that she did against Sabalenka
Hmm.
was really, really, really surprising. But like I said, she made the semis of a Masters 1000. She's won a Grand
Right,
Slam this year. You know what, Madison? Hey, keep doing your thing. Keep doing your
right.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you even before this other semifinal, I remember you were mentioning that the last time Andreeva and Swiatek had played, it was super, super tight. So
Yep.
you were thinking Andreeva was kind of on something with Iga. And apparently she was.
Listen, that youngster has been on a tear, as we've seen. And
Mhm.
again, I think that I give a lot of the credit to Conchita Martinez, because
Right.
she saw the talent, she is working with her, and she is really taking Andreeva to another level that I didn't expect for her to achieve this soon. I figured she was
Right.
going to get there eventually, because I just believe in
Mhm,
her.
mhm.
I've always believed in her talent, but I didn't
Right.
think that she would. I didn't think she was going to be like Coco. Coco was the one that jumped on the scene at 17, started wrecking shop, this, that, and the other. I didn't quite see that for Andreeva. I thought it would be like maybe 18, maybe 19 before she really climbed up in that top five. Bruh, she
Mhm,
pretty much right behind Sabalenka as far as leading the race for the year in
mhm,
championships. I mean, this
mhm.
young lady is doing the dang thing. Don't get it
Right.
twisted, bro. So yeah, she went up against Egan, was like, ain't nobody scared of you. And here's the thing, Bryce. Let me just say this real quick. We know Iga. We know Iga is like the bakery queen. She's just like,
Right.
I will open the doors in a minute. But here's the
Right. Right.
thing. If you really are truly at Iga's level and you can compete with her, that's where I'm noticing that Iga mentally still has a bit of a crack, because
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like she's just not able to get through those
Right.
tough matches where they go to three, where someone is really pushing her, and saying, no, I'm not afraid of you, I can give you this level of tennis.
Right.
And I feel like that is again what some of the top players are doing with her. But the folks, like I said, outside of the top 10, they just getting skull drugged. She opened up
Right.
the bakery and like, anybody, I got places to go, people to see. But it's those types of matches that are kind of, against the top players. And I do consider Andreeva to be a top player now, because
Yeah.
she literally is like, I am not afraid of anybody. I will play
Right.
anybody and I will give myself chances.
Mhm. And she rolled that right into the finals,
Yes.
which, to her credit, got the bakery door opened up on her in the first set, and
Yep.
then said, uh, "I'm not hungry."
Mm-mm.
you know,
No.
close his door. Close his door. So, I mean,
Against someone she hadn't even beaten, Bryce, because I don't think she had beaten Big Sab at that point.
I don't think so either.
So,
And
yeah.
so, shout out to Andre Ava for having the breakout tournament. When we do our what is that, our BOT awards in the beginning of 2026, we
Yeah.
already know what's going to be the breakout performance.
You already know. Already know. It's going to take somebody something major, and I just don't see that happening.
Right, right. I thought it was about to happen the next week, but she got stopped. But
I know, right? We'll talk about
yeah,
that.
right. Dula was like, I ain't gonna have that craziness happening in my backyard. But anyway, shout out to, so we have a new star
Yes. Yes.
on the women's tour. And once again, going back to what you said, Isaac, it will be exciting to watch how this parlays into her results for the rest of the 2025 season.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm expecting big things.
Yes. So that is Indian Wells. So let's go over to Miami and run through those singles results.
Yes.
We'll start with the women this time. We'll keep it in the women's court
Mhm.
because she may not have won the tournament, but that daggone Ala,
Yala. Yes.
this was her tournament. She is the
Yes.
story of the tournament for me. And in case y'all not familiar, um, what's her first name? Alexandra,
I
I
think
think.
so.
I think it's Alexandra Ayala, who
Yes,
is
that is correct.
from the Philippines.
Mhm.
Let me just run off, although she didn't win the title, let me just run off what she did. And first, she took out Katie Volanets, who's a very good player,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
you might say, okay, that could go either way, right?
Right. Right.
She showed Ostapenko what time it was.
Grand Slam
And we know
champion.
Ostapenko is never an easy out unless she wants it to be. Um, then Miss, I don't care if you won the Australian Open, Madison Keys, or if you was just in the semifinals in Indian Wells, go and get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Bedosa chickened out and was like, I see what's happening. You're not gonna get my name on that list like that. She grabbed the whole Iga and said, Mira ain't the only one you need to be scared of. Keep your
Right.
good eye on me. Right? Keep your good eye on me.
Yes. Yes.
And then
Yes.
Pagula was like, I got too much money to be losing.
B.
But good tournaments, this.
Good tournament. I mean, Bryce.
Seriously, what do you got to say about her, man?
Well, I mean, just all positive things, man. I saw her because they did a docu-series where they were talking about a lot of the young people that were going to Rafael Nadal's academy. It was a Netflix series, in fact, and I watched it, and I remember them showing Iala, and I was just like, oh, okay, it's a breakout star. Like Jokic, she's another. I think she might be American, but she's coming on tour. She's 17, and they showed Iala, and I was just like, okay, you got some young ones that are coming. And boy, oh boy, did she make herself known. She got up in this tournament and showed out. She really and quietly. I was watching Tennis Channel Live, and like I said, Paul Anacone early on had just thrown out there. He was like, I think she's gonna win the tournament. I was just kind of like, where'd that come from? And she about almost did it. Like I said, till she ran into Jess Pagula, because like you said, Jess was like, listen, girl, I got these billions. You're not gonna be foolish. No. But everybody else, she was like, listen, you just got to wait because I'm trying to make a statement. And I tell you what, Bryce, if she can continue to show up, she will most definitely be, I consider, the runner-up in our BOT Awards as newcomer of the year. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She's amazing. Good lefty swing, solid off of both sides. She is just really, really, really good.
So shout out to her. We'll start off with the quarterfinals, and we'll start from the bottom up since we're talking about her. So we got Iala had Iga in the quarters. Raducanu, I mean, who pulled her off the boat with Crystal Waters and Terrence Trent D'Arby and 5-star and all of them? She has been playing some tennis just out of the blue, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty impressed, but she keeps switching all these coaches. But I guess for her, it just doesn't matter. It can be this constant, it just doesn't matter to her. She's just going to keep playing, her tennis, and as she should. And so, she's been playing good of late. Hopefully she'd keep herself healthy and kind of keep herself in the mix. So,
but she ran into the gatekeeper with Pagula.
Yes.
Ain't let none of the craziness get past her. No. We had Magda Lynette, who once again, I thought she had retired. She was against Paolini, and you had Sabalenka against Queenie
again. Yeah, and Sabalenka loves that matchup. She's like, Queenie, listen, I don't care if you like you want to be friends with nobody. Guess what? It's okay, because I'm gonna keep giving you this beat down. And that's what she did, because she was just like, anybody scared of your game. And she's another one that I don't think Queenie has beaten her yet. And I don't know that I see her beating her anytime soon, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So in the semis, you've got Sabalenka against Paolini.
Yeah.
And you got Pagula versus Iala.
And apparently Sabalenka saw that Draper final against Runa and was like, we got whole biscuits to give out. So here you go. And she, but at the same time, kudos to our girl Paolini for getting to yet another semifinal, because I've been concerned about her. Because again, Bryce, there's a lot of jostling happening, in the top 10 for the women's side. And I have just been of this mindset and fear that Paolini is going to be the one to get kicked out. So I do feel like her making a semifinal of a Masters is going to help her to continue to fight that battle of staying within the top 10 and potentially the top 8. So good tournament for her. Yeah, I
agree with you on that. And then, I don't want to make it sound like, Pagula just ran through Iala. It went 3 sets.
No. Iala played good, man.
Real good. He did. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Ayala won the first set.
Yeah.
And then Pagula had to come back and restore order. But it was.
Well, but the thing is, Pagula was up in the first set, and Ayala ended up coming back and snatching. So it was a
Yes.
really contested match. I mean, Ayala got out there and was like, "Listen, this is my time," and Pagula was
Yes.
like, "No, sis, this is my backyard."
Yeah.
So who was going to win? And it was. I did watch that match. It was a really, really good match, Bryce. I was impressed by the youngster again. She was digging deep. She
Mm-hmm.
dug deep,
Yep.
and for her to even push that to a third set, because I really thought after losing, because I think she lost the first. Yes, she lost the first set in that tiebreaker. I was like, okay, Ayala has to be feeling some kind of way. She done, let the set
Right.
go, blah blah blah. She bounced back,
Mm-hmm.
bro, and she was able to come back and take that second set. And I was like, look at this
Mm-hmm.
youngster, look
Yep.
at her.
Mm-hmm.
But then, just like you said, restored order. She was like, listen, this is my backyard. I got these billions. I'm not trying to play with you, little girl. Go and sit down somewhere. Go and sit down. Yes.
Right.
I don't care what Paul Anacone said. Go and sit down because I'm making this final. Because Jess
Right.
at that point had not been past the semifinals. And I think this was her fourth attempt
Ah.
at Miami at trying to get
Mm-hmm.
past the semis. So she was trying to get over a hurdle as well. And she was just finally of the mindset, nah, little one. You got to sit down. So but it was a really good match, Bryce. It was good.
Yeah. And so Pagula pulls that out,
Yeah.
and she faces Sabalenka in the finals.
Yeah. Sabalenka is just simply proving that she is not only the number one player in the world, but she enjoys being the
Right.
number one player in the world. She's just got that killer instinct about her that's like, I hate losing. It's very Serena like. She just does
Right.
not like to lose. And I can
Right.
appreciate that. I'm just like, girl, go get it then. Do what you need to
Right.
do. And yeah, she was like, Jess, I done played you plenty of times. Ain't nobody scared of your game. I'm building new tricks every day. Yeah, you dealt with Ayala. Thank you very much, because I probably would have struggled with her. But
Yeah.
you know what? I know how to play you.
She sure did. And what was it, 7-5-6-2? Or
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
7-5-6-2. So pretty straightforward win there. But shout out to Pagula, because Pagula is bringing her game back. For a minute there, Pagula wasn't really coming with it,
Well, and let's talk just really quickly, Bryce, because I have a note here about our girl Coco. I feel like
Ah,
Pagula, if she continues doing what she's doing, she's going to reclaim that number one female
American,
American.
yeah.
And because Coco is just not playing consistent right now, she's really not, in my opinion, playing good tennis, excluding that match that she played against Kenin, where she gave her a double bagel.
Double back. Because you know what? She still think about that Wimbledon. She still think about that. That's gonna be like a Serena Sharapova type thing
Call it.
for Coco for the rest of her life.
She like, every time I see you, I'm gonna bring my best tennis and I'm gonna beat that skull. Because Coco was my aunt called me. She was like, did you see what Coco did to six? Because I watched the first set and I saw the bagel, and then I left. I went and did something because I was at home, of course, doing some stuff. And she called me and she texted me and she was like, did you see what Coco did to Kenan? And I was like, well, I knew she gave her a bagel the first set, but then I found out she gave her the bagel that second. I said, ooh. That's Serena
Yep.
Sharapova right there. That's
that
one
is.
of those, when someone does something to you that just, it's in your spirit.
Yeah, right,
And when
right.
Kenan beat her at Wimbledon, I
Yeah,
think that is now in her spirit, and Coco's gonna bring her best every time they play.
absolutely. That is hilarious.
Ooh.
But like you said, shout out to Sabalenka.
Yeah.
She is holding down. She bounced back from, losing in the finals against Andre Ava, the tournament before. Hey, how many people during the Sunshine Double, minus our boys Arvello and Pavic, made it to the finals and
Of
won
both.
the other one?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I call it a win for her. She's the number one player in the world. She won one. She was a finalist at the other. Hey, that's yeah.
real good.
Yeah.
Now, bouncing over to the men,
Oh yeah.
I just want to. So as the tournament's going on,
Yeah.
I get a text message from one of our BOT family members. I'm not going to say the name, but they were like, "Are they just trying to roll over and give Djokovic the tournament?" Because they were like, they just like rolling over. Like, here, no, I don't want it. Hot potato, you can have it. I don't want it. I don't want
Get it off me. Get it off me.
And Djokovic is just
Yeah.
coming through, right?
Sailing through. Yes,
So
sir.
we have a quarterfinal lineup of Mensik against Arthur Feast.
Yep.
Then we have Fritz versus Berrettini, which was like a blockbuster matchup for that.
That was good.
Then we had Djokovic against Korda. We knew how that was going to go. And then we had Dimitrov versus Cerundolo, which we knew whoever won on that, how that was going to go. So, Isaac, talk to us. We have a semifinal of Mensik against Taylor Fritz and Djokovic versus Dimitrov.
Yeah, I mean, really quickly, and I'll just be quick. The Djokovic Dimitrov, like I said, it was a 7-1 head-to-head. Djokovic is the old school. He's still got that locker room mindset of, he's afraid of Djokovic, I feel, and his game just does not match up well against Djokovic. And similar to Monfils, he's just like, I know how to play you. And so he got out there and simply put, he just played Djokovic tennis, and Dimitrov didn't have really anything for him. So that result did not surprise me whatsoever. The Mensik against Fritz, I'm going to be honest with you. That one was a little bit surprising to me, even though Jakob was really having a fantastic tournament. Again, he beat Draper, who won Indian Wells. So he really was playing some good tennis, but I just thought that Taylor Fritz was going to have a little bit more, even in the experience category, to get past him. But hey, this was one of those things where, you just never know when it's a person's time. And apparently it was Draper's time at Indian Wells, and it was Mensik's time at Miami, because he got a hold of Taylor and they battled. But at the end of the day, he was like, I'm not afraid. And he stepped up and he took his opportunity. The guy is a big guy. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Zverev, except just a little stronger, a little bit more meaty. And I like that kid's game, Bryce. He is not, I think he's either 19 or 20. He's got good, he's very flexible. He's very much a Djokovic in the making. And
I remember him in the next gen.
Yeah.
Tournament. Yeah.
Right. So he's got game. So again, in that matchup, I thought Taylor was going to come through, but Jakob was like, nah, bro, this is my time. And I'm going to tell you what, Bryce, I know we're going to talk about the whole final and everything, but what he wrote on the camera to me speaks volumes. I don't know if you saw what he wrote.
I didn't see what he wrote.
Well, okay. So folks, Jakob, of course, won the match against Djokovic, and we'll talk about that. But on the camera, Bryce, he wrote one of many. That was his first title, not first.
Wow.
It was his first title. It was a Masters 1000. His first title was a Masters 1000. And he wrote on the camera, number one of many. I was like, you know what? That speaks volumes to that young man's mindset. And I like it. I like it. Get out there and let them folks know. And I am scared of y'all. I'm not scared of y'all. I know what I'm doing now. My game is coming together. Everything is coming together. Y'all better watch out for me. I was impressed when I saw that they turned the camera. I was like, number one. And I was like,
it's almost kind of like what you want to hear from Alcaraz.
Exactly.
Right.
Little arrogance. Like I said, Fed had that little bit of, he had the charm, of course, and he had everything, but he had that little bit of that sense of arrogance, like, no, I'm the man. And that's what I got out of him signing that camera that way. I was like, okay, you doing it. I was like, I'm impressed with that.
That is nice. And you know what? Going into the final, and I wasn't able to watch it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was traveling.
Yeah.
But, I was thinking, like, whenever you have a newbie going against a legend, you wonder, can they pull it all together to actually get the victory? And one of the things that I am noticing about this current crop of players that are coming up, they not like, I think because Federer's gone, Nadal is gone, Djokovic is taking so many L's that he seems beatable for uh these kids ain't afraid, man.
Well, let me add something that I know that you have said in the past, just to give you some context, because I didn't know this until they played the final, and I actually did watch the
Mm-hmm.
final as well. Apparently, Djokovic has had Mensik out, not only like practice with him, but has had him to like his, private place or wherever
Right.
to have hitting sessions. So, and you've always said this. Anytime you play someone that is a higher ranking or whatever, you get comfortable with them. And the first time you play them on
Mm-hmm.
tour, you ain't scared of them. You ain't got the nerves that you would typically have, especially playing like a goat. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
think Jakob went out there, like you have always said, with that mindset of, well, I didn't played him before. I practiced with him. I've done practices with him. Why am I gonna be afraid of him? And he went out there and balled. And unfortunately for Djokovic, it played against him.
Right. Right. Um, and now so the what made that win critical from a Djokovic standpoint is that was going to be his 100th win.
Yeah.
I think what Federer's at 103.
Yep.
Of course, Connors is sitting up there with that 109.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think people are having the conversation now that that might be a record that Djokovic doesn't break.
Mm-mm. I'm honestly of the opinion that I don't know that he's going to break Rogers' record, if I'm being very honest with you. I don't
Okay.
know that I see him winning 5 more tournaments. I just don't, because again, he's been in a lot of these situations, and unfortunately, he has not gotten over the finish line. Remember, he played a lot of tournaments even last year and got to the semis or the final, and he just lost. And I think that record is on his mind, and I think it's getting mental with him. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I feel that way. I really, really do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but back to Mensick. Um, what I mean, now we're getting ready to transition to the clay,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And these people who have been winning, Draper,
Mhm.
Andreeva,
Yeah.
Mensick, now the new ones. I mean, we know um, Sabalenka knows how to handle herself on clay.
Yes.
How are their games going to transition, and are they going to be able to keep the momentum going?
What I would say is the one that I'm probably would be concerned about would be Draper, because
Draper,
I think
yeah,
Draper likes a hard court. He likes the grass, of course. So I think that
right.
he will do well once grass court season comes around. And I do see him showing out at some of those grass court tournaments as well
Mm-hmm.
as at Wimbledon. I really, really do.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to do well on clay. Whereas Minsick, I think he has an all-around game. I don't think that he's going to have an issue on clay at all,
Mm-hmm.
because he moves extremely well. He looks like he can slide.
Mm-hmm.
Draper just has them fitness issues, and he's always had that. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
gotten past it, but he's still not the one who's going to be looking to grind. Whereas I can see Minsick
Right.
playing a grinding point and then not having an issue with that. And
Right.
and then jumping on the Andreeva train, I feel the exact same way. I feel like she is fit. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
she is solid on both sides. I feel like honestly, she is going to do some damage on this clay court season. And Bryson, I'm going to be really. I know this is early, and I know we got to see some of the
Mm-hmm.
early tournaments on clay, but I'm a little concerned about Iga. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
I really, because if you take that Osaka match that she almost lost
Oh,
last
right.
year, and you take a very confident Sabalenka right now, you have an
Mm-hmm.
Andreeva who is like I said, showing that she is ready for prime time.
Right.
I feel like this could be a very, very interesting clay court season on the women's side. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, and I know y'all probably are like, I really, Isaac, but I actually do want to see Iga win another French Open. I really do, because I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like I
Right.
like the fact that how dominant she is on clay, but
Right.
I don't think it's going to be easy for her at all.
Right. Right. And then even going past Iga, like how do these other storylines playing for Coco now?
I am a little
Right.
concerned about
Coco,
Coco. Go ahead.
yeah. Clay we felt was one of her strongest
Yep.
surfaces,
Yep.
But what is that going to look like if she plays Andre Ava?
I don't think it's going to work out well for Coco, because again, when you have again, double faults in your forehand is not, when you have a gap, top players are going to be able to capitalize on that. I
Yeah.
think people outside of the top five will not, because Coco is such a phenomenal athlete that she
Right.
can do what she needs to do athletically to get past the woes of the forehand and some of the serving issues.
Mm-hmm.
But Andreeva, Iga, Sabalenka, I get a Bencic,
Mm-hmm.
because let's be clear, Mama Bencic is doing some things. Mama
Yeah.
Bencic is like, listen, y'all, my game is solid. My game is good.
Right.
And
It's
I
Svitolina.
and Svitolina, exactly. Those
Mm-hmm.
players that are just really good, just really good off of both wings. I
Mm-hmm.
am scared for Coco. I really, really am. I'm hoping that right now she's off working and getting herself right,
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't play Charleston, so she's not playing this week.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully she is off somewhere on a red clay court, really honing in her skills, because she's going to need it, because there are some ladies right now, Bryce, that are they are fighting, and I am loving every drip drop of it. These women are
Mm-hmm.
playing, and it's going to be really interesting to see who excels during the clay court season.
Right. And I even think it may be an opportunity for Paley to reemerge.
I agree, because she plays very well
Mm-hmm.
on clay. Got to the semis.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Roland Garros got to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, not semis. Got to the
Finals.
finals.
Right.
So
Right.
I agree with you,
So tennis is good right now, man.
man. Ain't it though? Ain't it though? Come on
It,
now.
it's good. It's really, really good. And so with that, we kind of covered the Sunshine Double, Indian
Yes.
Wells and Miami. Um, we are getting ready, like you said, to go over into this dirt,
Yes.
and see what we can make happen. But stay tuned, y'all, because you cannot predict who is taking the L's and who's grabbing the W's these days.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, well, we're gonna go ahead and sign on out of here. We're gonna be back at you, real shortly. We got a really cool interview coming up for you guys next week, so look forward to that. But on that, on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce,
And this is your boy Isaac.
and we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, stay well.